G'day guys, welcome back to the studio. I'm just going to do a quick review on the ARB base rack, specifically for the Jeep Wrangler JL. Some of the stuff will apply to other vehicles if you've got a base rack, but mostly it's going to apply to the Jeep itself. Okay, I'll go through some of the features, some of the pros and cons, and compare it to some of the other racks that similar to it on the market. And I'll tell you why I chose this rack over some of the other ones. Okay, so as you can see, this rack here, it doesn't do the full length of the roof of the Jeep. It just does that sort of back section from the rear panels rearward. Now you don't have the option for a full length rack with the ARB base rack. That didn't worry me too much, as I didn't want to put too much stuff up there, but I've ended up using it for quite a lot of things anyway. So, but everything up there does fit quite comfortably. So I've had the base rack for about 12 months now. I've taken it pretty much everywhere you could take it, whether it's just rough for driving, really difficult terrain, technical terrain, or really rough remote touring across corrugations or water crossings, beach, wherever. So it's pretty much done everything, and I've had a really good, I think it's had a fair test over that time. Now excuse the dirt, it does get a fair bit of use and a fair bit of rough treatment. So a couple of main features about this compared to some of the other racks. It's a fully welded aluminium rack. It uses these quite neat welds that are apparently done by a robot. Okay, being welded aluminium, it's not going to rust at all. I found that all the powder coat on it's been really good. Nothing's really come off. It's been really durable. I've given it a seriously good thrashing over the last 12 months. And taking things on and off it, using different methods of tying things and bolting things down, and there's been no damage to it. It's really stood up to it. You'll notice that it doesn't have the standard T-slot system that you'll find on other racks. It uses these, they call it dovetail system, and basically all of your different accessories will just clamp onto these dovetails on either side. And I've found that really good because when the rack's dirty, it's easy to get stuff on and off the rack, and you don't have to slide different sections along the T-slot in order to get other things on and off. So just give you a close look about how these different accessories will fit to the dovetail. So as you can see, they essentially just clamp onto the side of these panels here, and you just screw them down and up. I'll just use a screwdriver to unscrew those ones, and then insert just a 13mm bit or socket if I need to get those undone. And they're really quite easy to move around if you need to. Yeah, my roof is very dirty. It gets a lot of use in the bush. Okay, yeah, the way in which it actually fits to the vehicle itself, in the Jeep, it's going to be different for other vehicles. In the Jeep, you'll see that it's got an internal structure. So the rear section of it basically bolts into the tub through these existing bolts that hold the fiberglass roof on. And then, it's going to be difficult to see, and then you've got this other section which basically bolts into the internal cage in the vehicle and screws through the fiberglass roof into the rack itself up on top. And they've got that sort of backbone type system which you mount the platform on itself. I think that's good because it doesn't actually rely on the roof itself for any load, because the roof itself is obviously fiberglass and it's not rated to hold anything, let alone any kind of cargo or weight up there. It's all just, as you can see, it's a fiberglass roof, and that's just sandwiched between the mounting system inside and out. All these mountings are all fixed with M8 and M6 bolts all through the roof there. So it's extremely strong, and you definitely don't have to worry about it falling apart or any of that sort of stuff. Now the other two racks I seriously considered getting, there was the Rhino rack backbone system. I'd already done a bit of research on my last car and I chose not to get it. And the other one was looking at the front runner system as well, which is, it sort of came down between the ARB base rack and the front runner rack, mainly just because they're obviously both companies build very durable stuff. And the Rhino rack's not really, it's not actually really designed for proper serious remote touring or anything stuff like it. You know, it's marketed that it is, but when you compare them, it just isn't. And with the ratings the Rhino rack had, it was just very limited in what you could actually safely store on there in comparison to the base rack or the front runner rack. Okay, so just as a quick cost and weight rating comparison, you can see here that the pricing of the Rhino rack just comes in around about $2,100 to nearly $2,500 just for the parts in Australian dollars. Now, in standard Rhino rack fashion, their load ratings are quite complicated and you need to look very closely at them, but essentially its off-road carrying capacity is 62 kilograms is what you can load onto it. Now, the front runner rack, are you looking at nearly $2,000 again just for the parts? Now, if I'm honest, the load rating capacity, I found it difficult to find and I didn't bother ringing them to find out. But being front runner, you can expect it's going to be quite usable. They're a proper pioneering touring company that build equipment specific for off-road touring and whatnot. Now, if you can find a quick reference, just chuck it down in the comments below to let us know. Okay, and for the base rack, so this is just a screenshot of my invoice that ARB charged me. So for parts and labour to install it, it was $1,900. And for its load rating, so everything I found was actually documented in pounds, but it came to about 130 kilograms of load carrying, which is more than enough. And that was on or off-road. Okay, some of the pros that I found is obviously extremely strong. That's the biggest pro with it. It's very easy to customise. It's very easy to take things on and off and move things around if you like. You don't have to actually use the T-slots and slide things all the way off. You can just clamp it straight onto wherever you like. And one of the biggest pros to it is actually the cheapest of all. I mean, okay, probably not the cheapest rack, but cheapest of those three racks I was looking at. It actually came in quite a lot more affordable than the other ones. Now, the cons. It's a bit of a pro and a con, but one thing that's a bit of a con is the fact that because it is so slimline to the roof, it can be difficult if you do need to get under and underneath and you know, manipulate some of those nuts if you need to, like the one I've got on the bottom of the box there. Just saves me having to rely on it being tied down. It can be hard to get you know, hands under there, but it's also a pro because it sits nice and low and close to the roof. So another con is that all of these accessories you have to go to ARB to get. You can't just go down to super cheap like you can with the T-slots and buy generic T-slot pieces for them. So you've got to get those ARB pieces, and they're not overly expensive, but they're not cheap either. You pay for what you're getting. Now, the biggest con I found with this is noise, and it's not actual wind noise. I find there's no wind noise. That's actually a pro, I guess. But the actual con with the noise is that because the fiberglass roof is sandwiched between the rack and the mounting system, when you're turning corners and the chassis starts flexing in some way, or the body starts flexing, you actually get a bit of creaking from the fiberglass roof. Even if it's just moving that microscopic amount, you do hear a bit of creaking coming from that. It's not a massive drama. It doesn't worry me. It's just something I've noticed, really. So would I buy the rack again? Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, I would. Firstly, obviously, it's not overly expensive. It's one of the cheaper ones. It was the cheapest one for what I was looking at, and it's extremely high quality for what you're buying. And it just opens up so many options for the Jeep. I mean, obviously, being a Jeep, you've got limited storage on them anyway. So having that stuff on the roof gives you a bit more space inside, but it also gives you the ability to mount things like, you know, these annexes or, you know, your awnings and different things like that. And I keep all my recovery gear in that box there. Makes it very easy to get to if I need to. If you've got any questions about the roof rack that I haven't actually covered, I've covered obviously things fairly quickly. There's a lot of other stuff you can read on the internet and find out about, but that's just specifically for the Jeep. If you like the video, guys, just do me a favour, click that like button down the bottom left hand of your screen. That'll help the channel grow a bit and pump those videos out a bit more broadly across YouTube. If you've got any requests on what you'd like me to review on what I've done for my Jeep, just chuck that in the comments down below as well. Okay guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.